If you clicked on this video, I assume you're like me and love to travel, but there's a desire inside of you that like traveling or vacation is not enough. You have to live abroad. I feel you. It's kind of an impractical desire. Like, however, there are so many ways for us to like live long-term abroad. One thing is to like backpack or like rent an Airbnb for a few months. You can absolutely do that, but I also love to like fund my stay abroad and make it sustainable that way, and also kind of like have a purpose or mission while you're just living abroad and not just doing it for the sake of it. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about a few ways to do exactly that. And the first I'm going to start with is unfortunately not if you're not studying, but it has to be mentioned as a lot of people study. So if you are a student and you're able to do a semester or a year or whatever, maybe your whole degree abroad, do it. I did a high school exchange in the US. I'm from Norway, by the way, in high school, and then I did a semester abroad in Lisbon during my degree. If I'm doing a master's, I will absolutely do that abroad just because that's a lot more fun. I don't think I'm motivated for a master, but we'll see. And the craziest thing about this, again, I'm from Norway. I don't know how this works all around the world. I know you have to pay for colleges in the US, but if you're a part of an EU country and attending a European university, you have, I think nowadays, like basically all studies or universities have the ability to do a semester or a year abroad in the Erasmus Plus program. And the awesome thing about this is that you not only attend the university for free. I went to public university in Norway, but I got like placed in a private one in Lisbon, Portugal, but I still didn't have to pay a penny because that's what Erasmus do. You don't have to pay for it. In addition to that, you get a scholarship every month just for like living and studying abroad. Where this money comes from, I don't know. And there are like so many Erasmus people every year, every semester, all around the world, or in Europe, I guess. It's so crazy. I think Lisbon is way cheaper than Norway, and I think I got a scholarship around like 400 euros every month. In addition to that, in Norway, we get paid if we don't live with our parents during our studies, or like we get a scholarship if we finish our degree and stuff. So with that scholarship and with my Erasmus scholarship, I made money from doing the Erasmus because it was so cheap to live in Lisbon. And also just studying abroad is such like an experience and such a core like culture in Erasmus, especially like there are so many events and so many exchange students at the same time and place, and it's just very fun. So if you're thinking about it just a little bit, you have to do it. You will not regret it. It's not like necessarily just a dream. I've experienced that after living abroad 3 times, and none of them were like exactly the way I picture or like my dream stay, but it's just so fulfilling to go out of your comfort zone during your studies and improve your language and a lot of things. So that had to be said. The next one, still talking about Erasmus organizations, because if you're not a student or not a student anymore, but you still kind of would like the Erasmus experience, you can be an intern at a lot of Erasmus organizations. If you do this, you can get the Erasmus scholarship. I'm not completely sure about the application processes and stuff if that's different, but this is an awesome opportunity to have that international community, being a little part of the Erasmus core without being a student, and also gain experience from, you know, content creation or housing or administration or economics or events. Like there are so many things you can be an intern at, and there are like endless of cities these organizations have a need for interns. A friend that I met in Lisbon who was like studying with me, she loved Lisbon so much that now she's like taking gap year and being an intern at Erasmus Life Lisbon. So luckily it's still an opportunity to be that without being a student. The next one also doesn't apply to everyone, but I have to say because I did it myself. If you're from any of these countries, you're able to be a part of the Walt Disney Cultural Representative Program, meaning you can work in one of the Disney parks in Orlando, Florida, which is in the US. This is honestly a crazy and unique and amazing experience that I'm so great. Like I cannot believe Norway is like one of those countries. Is crazy. But Epcot has like a lot of countries, all these countries, and in those pavilions in that park, only a person from that country is able to work there. So in the Norway pavilion, I worked with only Norwegians. We wore like our national suit costumes and served Norwegian pastries, Norwegian food in the restaurant. People working with attraction was like the Frozen ride, because that's like based on Norway. It's a very, very cool concept, and like Disney, they know show. It's a 12-month program, and like everything is set up for you with like accommodation and transportation and costumes and everything. It's like a very old and like well-known concept and effectively hired and stuff. You just have to search up on Disney jobs, I think. And it's a great and safe way if you want to stay in the US, but also kind of like have that safety with like working from people from home. It's very weird because it doesn't feel like it's so far from home because you're like speaking your own language all the day anyways. I did this after my degree. It was kind of a childhood dream when I was done with my bachelor. So I went in August. You're supposed to stay there a year. I went home after a semester, just because I have lived and moved alone abroad and around quite a bit, and I was very aware of like what I wanted out of doing something like that, but it just was not that fulfilling to me. The job was not for me. I don't want to scare anyone away. I think it's a great opportunity. Like, I cannot get over the fact that like little Norway is a part of that. But yeah, definitely something I would check out if you're from one of those countries and have a dream of living in the US. I think if you're from other countries, you can also apply to the Disney College program, which is also like you just work in the parks, but just not in those pavilions. And I think the application process is probably very different, but I don't think you have to be from the US to do that. So I would check that out too if you're interested. The next thing I want to talk about is a working holiday. This is a specific visa that lets you travel and live in another country while working to like fund your trip there. Very popular in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and Japan, I think. I'm not going to go over all the things here, but that's a great way to live and travel and fund a stay abroad, and you will meet like-minded people on the way, because this is very well known, I think, especially in Australia. And it's probably not the most fun jobs, but if you don't mind working in a cafe or like at a surf shop or whatever and just making like a plan as you go, I think this is a great way to travel and live abroad. The next one is kind of similar, but not really. It is called Workaway. There are different websites to like figure this out on, but this is not a job or like working thing. It's an exchange. So on one of those websites, you can connect with a host that needs help with things like farming or animals or babysitting, or maybe there are hostels or whatever. They help with a few hours a day for free, but in exchange, you get free accommodation, and in some cases, I think you get meals or a little bit of payment. One of my classmates from high school did this in Hawaii. That's like insane, like being able to live for free at Hawaii, doing a little bit of farm work for a nice family, and then like just enjoying the island the rest of the day is honestly just crazy. The great thing here is that you can like connect with the host, or like you choose. You don't have to go or work with something you don't want to. The websites are supposed to be very safe, and you can like plan out as you go. Moving on, I'm going to talk about Embassy Internships. Every country is supposed to have an embassy in every other country, I'm pretty sure. And I'm from Norway. I don't know how this works in every country, but in Norway there are like intern positions every semester at like a lot of the biggest embassies around, which is like so cool, being able to again have that kind of like familiar working environment from your home, but actually like living and being abroad. Also, I know in Norway you get a scholarship every month. It's not like very high, but it's still a way to like fund your stay, and also great on your resume. I think no matter what you do, like saying you worked at an embassy in another country is pretty cool. So I'm sure it differs in requirements or pay or duration, or if they do it at all in every country, but definitely worth checking out, I think. And I love that we have the opportunity to do this. Another way is to be in a pair. This can also differ, but it often involves children or learning a language. I simply don't know enough about the application process and how you really do it to talk about it, but like such a great way, I think, if you like children or language or just those kind of things, and then being able to live abroad, being really integrated into the culture and not just like living on your own. Free food, and in some cases I think you get paid. I think they also have a big community among au pairs in the area. Okay, my battery died, but we're back on track, I think. The next one is not really funding your stay abroad, but I have to include, I did it myself, and promote the Scandinavian countries a little, and that is a folk high school. It's like a gap year after high school. You don't have to be straight out of high school, but it is like for young people. And in the Scandinavian countries, aka Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland, I think, this is a very normal way to do a gap year. And it's basically a boarding school. You live with a lot of other peers, but it's not school, it's not homework, it's not any of that, and you choose exactly what you want to do. I have a few videos of this, or during my year, I did it in 2021, 2022, and my classes were like action and voluntary work. So my days were filled with, you know, adrenaline and physical activity, and yeah, that is probably like one of the best years of my life. I still think about it a lot. Got some of my best friends from that year, and it is kind of expensive, but you do get a lot with the price. You get accommodation, food 4 times a day, trips, activities, like everything is covered, and it's just a year of pure enjoyment. And internationals are welcome. Some schools have like dedicated classes for internationals, but if you want to challenge Norwegian or like any of those languages yourself, you're welcome to apply to any of the other classes. But this is a way to just live in Scandinavia if you have a dream of doing that. And yeah, I cannot recommend this enough, especially if you are Scandinavian yourself. Just do a full high school year. It's so worth it. The next and kind of last one is like, the world is digitalized today, and if you really want to live abroad, I would highly recommend to just apply to remote jobs, being a digital nomad, or if you're already like studying or working remote, like why not just do that? abroad. Moving abroad can be scary, I know, but again, dragging kind of like the Erasmus. If you're a young adult, like choosing a big Erasmus city, because then you know you can like involve yourself in that community and join events with other young people, but while obviously having an income and kind of purpose while you're there. I think traveling, especially moving abroad, can like seem overwhelming. Everything I just talked about are ways to do that, but it's so easy to overcomplicate it, but it's really not. If you have a dream of living abroad, please just pursue that. Go do it. You can do whatever you want to, I promise you. And I'm very passionate about people. Oh, okay, camera died again. But I'm very passionate about people getting out of their hometown. And there are so many like friends and experiences and just growth that happens outside of your comfort zone, and especially abroad. I just rambled a lot, but I'm just gonna end it right there. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other ways to live abroad, please let us know in the comments. Include a blue heart for the world, so I know you stay till the end. Thank you, you are a real one. If you learned anything new at all, please give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate that a lot, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.